producers. Now I know most of them so well that I just give them shit. And I'm always just like, well, I don't, I've never done that really before, where I'd have a conversation, and it was an important experience for me.
Were there times when you were making the record during that 4 years when you were, like you say, in pain, where you wondered whether or not you would ever get another album or body of work out, or that it would take even longer than it has, that you wanted to throw in the towel and maybe just walk away from that process?
Maybe, but I was under a contract. So, maybe. But when I would have those moments, it never lasted. It was almost like I'd have the low moment and then I'd be like, no, fuck it. I gotta keep going. I've got to, now I feel like I need to say something. And then there's a period where I don't have anything to say, and it just would pick up quickly when I needed it to happen.
Who were some of the people that you, aside from your collaborators, the small group of people that you kind of, I suppose, went to say, is this good? Like, am I on the right path? Am I making sense? Am I speaking my truth?
Right.
Is it good enough?
I didn't.
Wow.
I didn't have anyone listen. It needed to be something that I liked.
For you to take on that challenge to a degree yourself whilst going through this challenging time, like that can be, ultimately fulfilling, but at the time, I'm sure there were lonely moments, where you, like you say, that makes the doubt even more kind of prevalent, doesn't it? When you're kind of on your own trying to work out, navigate your way through this static to find some clarity of vision.
Right. I mean, it's safe to say that I was sad. It's like, whatever. But I think to me, it's such a distant thought. I'm not in that place anymore. And I think maybe before I used to lie and say that so that people would get it, but I kind of show everything that I'm feeling in my face.
Yeah.
But it's not even, I can't even go there anymore if I tried. It just doesn't seem like it's a part of me anymore. Any of those ties, soul ties, or mental stuff, everything going on, it's all of it's under control, and this is where I'm going, and I see it very clearly.
So there's a lot of liberation on this record.
Yep.
And even the moments when, you're diving into subject matter to resolve it for yourself, it feels like you're doing so with the purpose of trying to get to a liberated place. And so I wondered, at the end of the process, what did you let go of? What did you no longer need in your life once you'd kind of been through this process of writing this album and getting out the other side?
Well, I definitely had to get probably the most toxic thing out of my life first. Then it started becoming being a bit more vocal. I am naturally a people pleaser, so it's just more kind of saying, no, this isn't what I'm going to do. I started noticing, people were putting, that were setting up sessions, it seemed like favors or something. It kind of got confusing for me. And I think that's why one of the many reasons why I tend to just always go with Ian, Julia, and Justin.
Trust.
Loyalty, trust, understanding. Don't give a shit about the industry, and believe in the art and believe in music and believe in what I'm saying. I have the greatest label. I'm so grateful for John and all of that. That's not really what I'm describing. I guess it's just, it is weird. And especially being in the position that I'm in as a pop artist, it is harder when it's like, oh, we're having all these things because we think you should sound like this.
Yeah.
I learned a lot this past year about how to navigate that.
So when you write a lyric like, people go from people you know to people you don't, surely that's like a great moment for you, a moment where you recognize that's just a part of humanity.
That one's funny because it was actually my friend Liz. It was her friend that had the hook, and so it was actually random because it came out of nowhere.
God, take it.
Which was really fun.
Yeah.
Everyone goes through it, We go through seasons. People are meant to be in your life for some, and others they're not.
I think if you accept that, though, that's an ultimately positive thing, isn't it? When you realize that if you stop holding on so tight to the idea. I hated
change. I mean, I kind of still do. But every time I'm on the other side, I'm like, I get it. Thank you for that one. Needed that.
What did you get? Like, what do you get from when you come out the other side? What do you recognize? What do you realize? What do you learn from it?
Okay, good example is, I would say it's about 8-10 years. It was really painful. And I think when Lose You to Love Me came out, And the reaction it got, I definitely knew it was a special song. I didn't know that it was going to become
It's
what
your
it was.
first number one, and people responded to it in such a huge way.
I think when that happened, I had a moment where I said, I completely get it. The agony, the confusion, the self-doubt, all of that wrapped up into that song. That was a moment where I got it. I needed that. I went through that for something like this for other people. And that was a really special moment.
I can't think of anyone who's lived the kind of life you've lived and you're still only 27 years old. To be launching a music career at 17 with what you'd already done, and then to go through the process of growth and identifying and understanding who you are, all in the space of the public eye. And you worked the whole time. How hard was it to find a balance? Was that one of the biggest challenges, finding the balance between work and you? Because you didn't stop working. Even when you were getting sick, you still worked.
Yeah, I think I needed to because it kept me going. So sometimes I pushed myself too far. When I did have to take moments and step back, I didn't find that it was embarrassing or that I was letting myself down or letting fans down. It meant that I needed to make sure. I didn't want to get to a certain age where it was almost too late, that I didn't figure this stuff out. And I had been going through all of these different emotions, not specifically within relationships. It's personal, it's, bigger than that. It's people at home. There was a lot there. And I'm grateful because it has brought me through all of it. But I have this relationship with my job and my work that keeps me going. I know it's kind of stupid, but I always say to my fans that they have saved me from a lot of situations. You're built up just for them to knock you down. It keeps going. It's going to keep happening. But what stayed consistent in my life was that. And because of social media, which I'm able to have more of an intimate relationship with them, and that's, I draw my boundaries to a specific point, but it's literally people that I've known for years. And that meant so much to me. So,
do you sometimes go and read things and dial into the timeline when no one knows, just to kind of see what people, you don't do that?
No. I didn't have social media for 2 years.
You mentioned that you hadn't been on social media at the start of the last conversation we had, and I kind of wished I'd sort of dived in a little bit more into that, because I just, out of a pure personal level, want to know what that's like. Like what it's like when you don't look at it, because I still find myself, my screen time still creeps up. I still find myself falling into that habit.
I don't know, you just gotta do it. I was driving myself crazy. First off, there was a million things that I didn't want to see.
Yeah.
And I would see them over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Then I'm comparing, then I'm looking at these people and I'm like, how do they, it's all the things that people say, right? It's nothing new. It's that you usually sometimes feel like shit. You have FOMO, everyone's life looks amazing. And that happens to me too. I'm like, well, what am I not, like, I'm missing the plot here, like, right? Something's, how come it's so fun for everyone else? Then it just started getting dark. Like there were accounts that were dissecting me down to my body, to my face, my features, choices I've made, telling stories. And it drove me crazy because I honestly just wanted to be like, none of you are
qualified,
like
or
none of you even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it just destroyed me. So I stopped, and I tell every single person, everything changed, And I'm living in that time where there's a specific look that's going on within females. So that would get in my head as well. I do look young, so there's nothing I can do about that. Of course, I am 27, but sometimes I'm like, oh, I look like a baby, which is stupid. And I don't fit into that look, which isn't a bad thing, and it's not bad that that's what people enjoy and like. It's whatever makes you feel comfortable, of course. But like when I was out of social media, I was so much happier with just me, myself, how I looked. And that helped a lot.
During those reflective times, when you're getting into a place and you find yourself going into a personal space where you can just have the freedom to think about what you want, not be distracted. What's the one thing, the prevailing question or prevailing anchor you kept coming back to that you knew you had to get through?
I just needed to let my old self go. I was purging multiple different things, but it was specifically who I was then. I would like to say that this is a fresh start, and I started with this album, but I'm going to continue to just do better and do everything I can to make it great.
I mean, it's a complete human experience, this album, from start to finish. It starts with a song called Rare, and which is just I've never heard that in a song.
I loved that. That actually is a word that sums up what the purpose of my position is, which is letting people know that they are completely unique within who they are.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing, right? It's like they don't fit in, or they feel like they need to be a certain way, and who are they looking up to is very scary also to know who they're looking up to. And I think it was such a perfect description of how I think girls or women are meant to feel. It's even acknowledging I don't have it all, but I do know that I'm worth something. I'm not going to settle, and I'm going to wait, because there is something out there that is going to give me that feeling that I deserve and that I want.
To get the best out of your collaborators and the best out of each experience in a recording studio, you have to be as honest and open with each other as possible. How was that for you, knowing that you were going to dredge up details and examples and stories and even people by name, and share that with people in a trusted environment? Like, I don't see how you could have made Rare without doing that. The subject matter on the record, as well as you're hiding it and keeping it to yourself and letting us work it out. I figure you got to go there to be able to dress it up different.
It would be. It didn't even needed to be said.
Yeah.
And it's not because I wanted any sort of spotlight on that situation. If anything, I'm wanting the spotlight completely separated.
Yeah.
But it wasn't in a vindictive way. It was simply like, okay, I actually have my part to say, and I waited. I wasn't just, irrationally doing something to just be like coming from a place of, well, like I'm over it. That's not where I was. When it all came together, it just felt right. And I was okay with that. Other than the fact that they pay attention a bit more to my personal life than maybe others, it's going to be, it's going to be gone in a day. There's going to be another story. There's going to be something else. So people will ultimately know, yes, where the inspiration came from, but then it kind of ends there.
Moving away from any particular individual and just talking about the concept of having a normal human relationship. As long as you've been interested in forming any kind of bond with anyone, it's been visible for the most part. And I figure that's got to distort at some point your concept of what a normal relationship is or what the possibilities are. Whether you acknowledge that at some point and decided, no, I need to get back to a place where recognize this is just an unusual and strange environment.
Well, if I could be honest.
Of course, always.
It is so cliche. It's just everyone dates everyone. It always seems to be within a little bubble, and it's because it's safe, right? It's, you're wanting someone to understand what you're going through. You're almost wanting a counterpart of creativity as well, and it's, interesting and fun. But the problem with that is that you end up, whether you admit it or not, you're having a relationship for people and not even for yourself. There's almost this point where it's like, oh, we're making it known that we're together, or whatever. Whatever it is, it's like you just need to
Selena
decide.
Gomez's name has always been synonymous with resilience, raw honesty, and an ability to turn her pain into art. But no one was prepared for the depth of vulnerability she revealed in her latest conversation. a moment so candid it left fans and interviewers alike holding their breath. It wasn't just another celebrity interview. It was a rare glimpse into the soul of a woman who has weathered storms that most of us can only imagine. Selena began by reflecting on her growth, both as an artist and as a woman. She admitted that, for the first time, she had written and created music entirely for herself, without seeking validation from friends or industry insiders. There was a time, she confessed, when she would have doubted her own voice, when loneliness and self-doubt shadowed every creative decision. But as she poured her feelings into her songs, she found a sense of liberation she had never known before. The pain was real, and so was the mistreatment. Though she never named names directly, it was impossible to ignore the context. The years spent trying to find herself amid the scrutiny of her high-profile relationship with Justin Bieber and the complicated aftermath involving Hailey. Selena spoke of toxic chapters, of people who didn't have her best interests at heart, and of the endless pressure to become someone she wasn't. She was honest about the toll it took on her self-esteem, her mental health, and her very sense of identity. There were moments, she admitted, when she wondered if she would ever find her way back. Creating her album was not just an artistic process, but a battle for her own survival. Sometimes she wanted to quit. Sometimes the pain felt insurmountable. But each low moment was followed by a surge of determination. Selena realized she had something important to say, and that message became her anchor. You are rare. You are enough. But what happens when your every vulnerability is dissected in public? Selena described the unique agony of living under a microscope, of seeing strangers online critique her body, her face, her choices, and her relationships. The digital age, she said, has a way of amplifying insecurities and forcing comparisons that are impossible to win. For 2 years, she walked away from social media entirely. The relief was immediate. For the first time in years, she felt comfortable in her own skin, free from the endless cycle of judgment and comparison. Still, the wounds from her past relationships, especially with Justin Bieber, ran deep. Selena acknowledged the confusion and heartbreak of loving someone in the public eye, of having a relationship that seemed to belong more to the world than to herself. She spoke about the music she created during this time, including the chart-topping Lose You to Love Me, and how it allowed her to process her grief, anger, and ultimately, her hope for something better. The pain wasn't just about love lost. It was about betrayal, about feeling used, about being made to feel less than. Though Selena never descended into bitterness or blame, she made it clear that the mistreatment she endured, from Justin, from Hailey, from others in her orbit, left scars. But these scars, she said, have become part of her strength. By the end of the conversation, Selena was visibly emotional. She choked up as she described the journey from heartbreak to healing, from being knocked down to standing tall. The liberation she found wasn't just about moving on from a relationship. It was about reclaiming her own narrative. She is no longer defined by the way others treated her, but by the way she learned to treat herself, with kindness, patience, and love. In a world obsessed with drama and gossip, Selena's story is a powerful reminder that healing takes time, that self-worth is not measured by another's love, and that even the most public pain can be transformed into something beautiful. As she closed, Selena offered a message to anyone struggling to find their own voice. Don't settle. Don't let anyone, no matter how famous or powerful they are, make you feel small. You are rare. You are enough. And with those words, Selena Gomez turned her pain into a promise. Not just to herself, but to anyone who has ever felt broken by love. The story isn't over. She's simply writing a new chapter. And this time, she's the one holding the pen.